When they say you could be fired in 2026, it means 2025 is already your last chance. Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur has been warned. If the team doesn't improve in 2025, he's out. But in Formula 1, a warning like that doesn't come as a future threat. It comes as a delayed confirmation. The real judgment is already underway. Former Red Bull driver Daniil Kvyat said it plainly: if things don't change, there will be changes. And at Ferrari, changes never mean mid-level shuffles, they mean exits, and they always start at the top. Vasseur was hired to restore order, to bring clarity and structure. But what has he delivered so far? Disappointment, a car that can't match McLaren or Red Bull, and a driver lineup slowly starting to crack under pressure. This isn't about waiting for 2026's regulations, because if 2025 fails, Ferrari's reboot will begin without him. In Maranello, they don't react to disaster, they anticipate it. Fred Vasseur's position might appear stable on paper, but within Ferrari's walls, stability is always temporary. When Kvyat hinted that 2026 will bring changes if things don't improve, it wasn't speculation, it was a veiled truth. Ferrari doesn't fire you after failure, they set the wheels in motion while you're still smiling for the cameras. This isn't just about race results, it's about perception, momentum, internal alignment, and the brutal pace of Formula 1 politics. Vasseur was meant to be the architect of the new Ferrari. Instead, he's become the face of yet another underwhelming campaign. Why? Because 2025 isn't just another season, it's the final year before the new era of regulations. And no top team enters a new rules cycle with a leader they don't fully trust. Behind the scenes, the conversations have already begun. Not about if Vasseur can turn things around, but about who replaces him if he can't. When a driver stops defending the team, he's already targeting its leadership. Charles Leclerc has always been Ferrari's golden boy, loyal, polished, diplomatic. But 2025 has revealed a shift in tone. He's no longer shielding the team from criticism. He's becoming the one applying pressure. After yet another disappointing qualifying, Leclerc snapped, "Starting P11? I just can't accept this." That wasn't just emotion, it was strategy. Because every word from a driver like Leclerc, 7 seasons in, no titles, mounting pressure, becomes a signal to those above. Even Daniil Kvyat noticed. Even when Charles does a mega lap, he's still behind Red Bull and McLaren. It's no longer about effort, it's about resources, it's about trust. And when Leclerc says the car is in the sweet spot but still off the pace, he's not blaming himself, he's blaming the system. And Vasseur is at the center of that system. Frustration isn't just noise, it's leverage, and Leclerc is starting to use it. At Ferrari, loyalty lasts only as long as results, and results are running out. Fred Vasseur's authority inside Maranello was never absolute. He was brought in to clean up the mess left by Binotto, to align departments and restore order. But Ferrari isn't a team, it's a machine with many internal factions, and when that machine smells weakness, it moves fast. Every missed podium, every strategic misstep, every passive radio call from the pit wall, it all feeds the same narrative. This version of Ferrari isn't good enough, and Vasseur is at the wheel. The politics inside Ferrari aren't visible on TV, but you can hear them in the silence, in the guarded language from the engineers, in the way Leclerc speaks without naming names, in how team decisions feel more like compromises than convictions. And Vasseur knows it, because in Italy, they don't tell you you're fired. They let the pressure build until the next race buries you. You don't hire a 7-time world champion to wait, you hire him to win, or expose the system. Fred Vasseur made the boldest move of his career by signing Lewis Hamilton. On paper, it was brilliant, experience, prestige, and a new era of belief. But Hamilton isn't just a driver, he's a force. And he doesn't play politics quietly. Inside the garage, his standards are already shifting the atmosphere. He questions decisions, pushes for clarity, and refuses to accept 4th place as progress. This car felt good, but not good enough. That was Hamilton's assessment after his best result with Ferrari. Not celebration, diagnosis. And that's the danger, because Hamilton doesn't settle. If he senses Ferrari isn't aligned or ready to win, he will push for change. And when Lewis starts asking questions, everyone starts looking at one man, Fred Vasseur. Hamilton doesn't threaten with words, he threatens with expectations. At Ferrari, they don't build legacies, they build expectations, and then bury the ones who fail to meet them. Fred Vasseur may be the latest name in charge, but he's far from the first to stand on this trapdoor. Binotto, Arrivabene, Domenicali, all arrived with vision, left with regret. Because at Ferrari, the seat is never secure, it's just borrowed. Every leader starts with promises. They all talk about long-term projects, building for the future, restructuring the team. But Ferrari doesn't do long-term, it does results. Now, when the car underdelivers, when the drivers start speaking in code, when rivals stretch ahead, the finger-pointing begins, and it always ends in the same place, the team principal's office. Even Kvyat said it without saying it. If 2026 isn't better, there will be changes. But inside Ferrari, the decision doesn't wait for the checkered flag. It builds with every mistake. And Vasseur, he's now on the same script as those before him. They say he could be gone in 2026, but in reality, the execution starts the moment 2025 slips. For Fred Vasseur, 2025 is not a development year. It's not about laying foundations or preparing for 2026's regulation overhaul. It's his final exam. Kvyat's warning, there will be changes if 2026 fails, isn't a future threat. It's a signal that the judgment is already underway, because Ferrari doesn't wait for failure to act. It reacts to momentum, or the lack of it. If by mid-season, the car can't fight McLaren or Red Bull, if Leclerc's radio turns from concern to sarcasm, if Hamilton begins to distance himself from strategy decisions, Vasseur is finished, whether the press releases say it or not. Ferrari is already looking at 2026 as a new beginning. The only question is, will Fred Vasseur still be part of it? Or is this just another chapter in the Scuderia's long tradition of sacrificing leaders to protect the myth? At Ferrari, the replacement is never random. It's already being whispered before the fall is public. If Fred Vasseur doesn't deliver in 2025, the question isn't just if he'll be replaced. It's who Ferrari already has in mind. In Maranello, the conversations have already started. They always do, in silence. Whether it's a return to an Italian figure, an engineer from within, or even a bold external hire, Ferrari never waits until the end to plan the next beginning. Names will surface, some serious, some speculative. But the moment Ferrari senses 2025 slipping, the search becomes real. And the timing matters, because with the biggest regulation shift in years coming in 2026, Ferrari needs a project leader they trust, not one they're tolerating. And if Vasseur isn't that person by summer 2025, he's already out. Now, it's your turn. Do you believe Vasseur is the right man to lead Ferrari into the next era, or is he already on borrowed time? Fred Vasseur is walking a razor-thin line between redemption and removal. The pressure is mounting, the patience is fading, and the legacy of Ferrari demands results, not promises. So now we turn to you. Would you pull the trigger and replace Vasseur today, or does he deserve one more chance to prove he can lead Ferrari into a winning future? More chance. Knowing that another failed season means losing Hamilton, alienating Leclerc, and watching Red Bull and McLaren run away again? Drop your take in the comments, because at Ferrari, indecision is the fastest way to collapse.